We can start, people.
So great stuff. Great to have all of you today. And it's a very short and sweet session. So the interest is to get you to think about coaching as a career, whether you are an inside coach or an outside coach. Okay, so that's the looking at, coaching is growing. What is the evidence for that? Okay, so why coaching is growing as compared to other professions? There are 10 professions by which you can develop any individual, and coaching is one of them. There is training, there is counseling, there is therapy, there is being a leader, being a manager. So like that, we count about 10 ways in which facilitation, mentoring. So coaching is growing faster than any other profession today because of three primary reasons, as we say. And let me tell you, the amount of RFPs or request for proposal around coaching inside the organization in the last 1 year has really exploded for these reasons. One, because when it comes to senior people in the organization, you have a challenge. If you have top leaders in the organization, very difficult to, put them into, sensitive and behavior changing program. Why? Because it can lead to creating an embarrassment for the senior leaders in the organization. So they want psychological safety to be able to develop themselves in a one-to-one in a coaching process. So we are working, for example, with a large organization where we are engaging with close to about 100 global leaders, a large multi-billion dollar company, tech company. And, tech companies tend to do well nowadays, especially with all the buzz around AI and other stuff. So now these people are managing businesses somewhere where the total control of a business can be as high as billions of dollars. So how do bringing them into classroom can be a challenge. That is one. The second reason is, and therefore there is a huge demand for personalized and contextualized development, as we said. The second is, when we look at training and any other method of development, sustaining change and sustaining it after the intervention is not easy. Now, because coaching is a long-term engagement where you were engaging with them over a period of 3 to 4 to 5 months, depending on, we call it rule of 3, 6, 9, 12 in the coaching process. So if you remember the table of 3, that's a good way to know, how coaching should be done. But broadly speaking, the behavior change is long lasting because of the accountability and the focus which a coach is able to bring in, which is virtually impossible or very difficult to do that in basically interventions like mentoring or interventions like training and so on and so forth. So training becomes more event oriented. People come in couple of days and then they go out. So there is learning. There's not that it's not learning. So it is, to the extent various studies show that the change in behavior efficacy is about 16 to 20%, depending on the nature of context and the issue which is involved. Coaching is, there is one profession which can bring a dramatic change. If some of you are familiar with what we call as Kirkpatrick model, which is, 4 levels of evaluation, we call it L1 to L4. Coaching is one profession which can be easily evaluate and show the change in needle at all 4 levels. And that is the reason why this is demand which is there in the coaching. So these are the 3 reasons why coaching is growing faster than any other professions. Now we are a BYLD, as you know, is a company which is into coaching, training. There are 4 training verticals. There is, staffing vertical. There is a, background verification vertical. So there are about 7 verticals in this particular business, and as a BYLD. And we know, when we look at the fastest growing vertical in terms of percentage or CAGR is the coaching business, because of the demand, the natural demand or the tailwind which is there. And that's the reason why looking at why is it also looking at. Let me give you some numbers. This is as of December 2024. So we are not even 1 month. You'll be surprised to know that total number of ACC worldwide is only 20,000, 28,000 something. Okay, another 24,000 are PCCs worldwide. Okay, and there are MCCs are only 2,500 kind of a thing. You know, chocolate to that person who can guess what the numbers would be in India. This is global number I'm talking.
Maybe around 2,000.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay, so you earn the first chocolate or the virtual chocolate. Okay, so you'll be surprised. ACC coaches for the entire working population. These are, when we say ACC, these are accredited coaches. Anyone can claim to be a coach today, but these are certified accredited coaches, as we say. Okay, it's 869, and this is the number again, is as of December 2024. PCC, interestingly, India has more PCC ratio than the global this thing. And then we have 91 MCCs in India. Just to give you a little equivalence, and anyone who probably is familiar with these numbers, ACCs are Associate Accredited Coach. Okay, it's almost equal to graduation in coaching. And basically, PCC is Professionally Accredited Coach. It is equal to, you know, masters, and MCC is equal to PhD, because the number of the depth which is there is exponentially grows up in the various qualification. Earlier, long time ago, you could actually apply for MCC, not anymore. Now you have to be a minimum PCC to be an MCC. Okay, and you need to lose hair like me to be, you know, eligible to be an MCC this thing, or dye your hair grayish or whitish, so that people don't find it objectionable. Why? Because we say 2,500 hours is needed as a practice, as coaching hours of practice, before one can apply for MCC. And that's the background to it. Now, what does it mean? Why I'm sharing these numbers is it tells you about the potential. Because I'm sure you have heard of something called as hockey stick growth. We are right now at the bottom of the hockey stick. Now, how many of you have put in money in the stock market? Now, you experienced hockey stick curve after the COVID. The market went up. Now you are seeing it coming down. But after, those who put money just around the COVID time, they saw the stock market growing from 9,000 to right up to 25,000. That was the curve. That curve which is there is called as hockey stick curve. Okay, which means it just goes like linear. And in the coaching business, we are at the bottom of the hockey stick right now because of the working population. In India, if you look at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, okay, look at the ratio which is there for the working population. I've taken, not even taken students or anyone else. I've just taken, you know, the working population. There is one coach for almost 3.25 working people in the in India. These are all Indian figures which I'm talking about. And therefore, we are at the bottom of the hockey stick curve. In US, there is roughly about one coach for every 100,000 or 50,000. That's the, depending on what this thing is looking. And that's a huge gap in this one. Recently, a global company approached us and said, would you like to participate in a global RFP for coaching? Okay, now we can't name the clients because of confidentiality and various other reasons. Now they said, I said, okay, we'll be happy to bid for India and maybe at best Sri Lanka. Okay, and we put in our bids, and then they came back. There were a panel of 6 people, 2 from Germany, 2 from US, 1 from Australia, and 1 from China, I think. Okay. They said, we like to have another conversation with you. I said, sure. And they said, why don't you bid for other countries also? I said, because this was to be done remotely. You know, we were supposed to do it remotely. And they said, I said, but why do you want us to bid? You can get good coaches in Europe and US and, you know, basically all those things. They said, go ahead, bid. I said, help me understand. We will bid if you are insisting that this thing, but like to understand. Because keep in mind, this is a global certification. So when you are an ICF accredited ACC, PCC, MCC, this is global, which means you can practice anywhere in the world as a professional coach. And they said, they said, Sandeep, it's simple. It's arbitrage. I said, because in India, the coach cost, which we are getting is almost 1/5 what we pay in US. So for the job where your coach, you are coaching, a PCC, you are quoting for $800 a session. Okay, in US, the same coach, same level of coach is charging like $4,000 or $5,000 a session, by the way. Okay, so that's the difference. So we'll say for us it is arbitrage, and it doesn't make. And saying because we are a tech company, what happens is half of the people working who will be coached in US or Australia or this thing are anyway Indians. That's the benefit we have. So let's say familiar faces, good cost, and it helps us with a global project. So giving you an example of how the potential is panning out. And this company is going to look at coaching at about some 1,200 leaders, starting from middle going up to the senior. And obviously they do pairing. There's a chemistry call, and PCCs are given to senior leaders and ACCs are given to middle leaders, and so on and so forth as we go through that. So that's what we are talking about, this one. So we are somewhere at between 0.2 and 0.8 in coaching in the hockey curve, looking at the potential. Now, a lot of people today ask a question, is coaching AI proof? Because you see, everyone is talking about AI, everyone. A lot of potential coaches, will I have to compete with AI? So let's look at what is the information available or experience available. Will we become redundant because of artificial intelligence? So is coaching AI proof? Answer is yes. This is one profession which AI will not be able to replace, because it is requiring some deep inferences and skills here, which AI is still very, very far off from being able to do that. But I got a very interesting question in one of the platforms. Are coaches AI? Can you see the difference between is coaching AI proof? Are coaches AI proof? I said, that's a great question. Let me think about it. Then I spoke to some of my mentors and, global experts. They said, Sandeep, coaches are not AI. Coaching is AI. I said, explain that. I said, how come coaches are not AI? He says, the many people said it depends on how fast the coaches start adopting AI as a tool in the coaching. So between two coaches, if there is a coach A and there is a coach B, okay, the coach that starts using AI as part of creating the experience for their clients will do much better than the coach who is only using coaching as a traditional platform. I said, it kind of makes sense. Okay, so is coaching AI proof? Answer is yes. Are coaches AI proof? Answer is no. It depends on how quickly they adapt the tools in the world which are going to come in. And that's one of the things which basically is there. Okay, how quickly this is the adoption curve, as you see on the right hand side. Okay, and we see already signs of adoption of these tools across the world. So let me give you how the journey begins and how it starts. This is a small introductory video which you can see from ICF, okay, and it gives you a quick overview of the entire journey and how it gets started in the process.
Hello. Welcome and congratulations on your decision to take the next big step in your coaching journey by pursuing an ICF Associate Certified Coach credential. This is an important milestone in your career. Earning an ICF credential will help set you apart as a coach who has met robust education and experience requirements and is committed to the highest professional and ethical standards in coaching practice. It also represents a commitment to ongoing learning and growth through continuous coaching education and renewal of the credential every 3 years. By applying for an ICF credential, you are beginning a journey of ongoing learning and growth as a coach practitioner, for yourself, for your clients, and for the coaching profession. Let's get started.
Okay, so that's the simple part. How do you become a ACC or an accredited coach? Part 2 ACC. It's very simple. Not simple. It is tough. Okay. So you have to finish 60 hours of classroom. There are 5 recordings during the process you have to submit. Any vendor, so any education provider, they will take care of that. Okay, there are lots of practice which you have to do. 100 hours of coaching practice, 10 hours of mentors sessions. This is all provided by the vendor who you negotiate with. Okay, it could be us or it could be any other vendor. And then there is a performance evaluation. In the new construct of things, this entire piece which you see in the box is taken care of by the education provider. Now that could be us or our competition, anyone, there is no this thing. The level 1 path takes care of these steps which are there in the box. And then the education provider gives a certificate, level 1 certificate, gives a report card which says you have passed the level as per the standard set by ICF, and now please go to the ICF website and apply for your ACC. So the people go to the website, they apply for ACC, okay, with the certificates and the report cards which are given, and then they are sent a link to appear for what we call as CKA or Coach Knowledge Assessment. The new knowledge CKA is a 78 question MCQ, okay, which can be done at home through an internet, or you can go to a Pearson View Center, okay, slot an appointment where they do this GMAT testing and all that stuff, and then appear for the exam. And immediately when you will finish the exam, within few minutes, they will tell you the result, that whether you have become, you have passed it or not. So far at BYLD, we have got 100% strike rate. Nobody has flunked the CKA. Okay. And they send you within 24 hours, then you get your license as a ACC coach, and then you can start the practicing. But to start practicing the coach, you don't need ACC. Okay. ACC is a good coaching certification to have, but the moment you finish your classroom, you can start coaching professionally and even charging money. Okay. If you are a outside coach is which means you are charging money. You can be an inside coach. You are working like inside the organization. Anyway, you are getting salary from the organization. It's a good idea to get your organization to pitch in for your the fees which you are going to pay to the any supplier like us. So this is how the process works in the process. And then keep in mind, it's a global certification. It's recession proof. In fact, our last experience tells you when things like COVID or the dark chapters, the demand actually of coaching went up much more. So coaching as a profession is outpacing any other profession, is because it's said, because it is considered as part of the mental health industry. And this is one of the fastest growing industry where we don't have enough coaches, which is there. Okay. It's one of the best talent management process inside the organization. So coaches, when they get certified, we teach them how to run coaching or culture building processes using the skill and knowledge of this thing. And of course, you get to become part of the community, local and the global community, network with the who's who of HR. Because, for example, the 400 people who have gone through us, are with us as coaches or becoming a coaches, 200 of them are HR heads or CHROs. Some are, at least 100 of them are live HR heads, and so on and so forth. So you are in a good company, you know that, as you are becoming part of it. So sometimes people also make use of the forum for career shifts and other stuff because of that. So this is what we wanted to share with you. I'll stop sharing and I'll open it up for any questions. We have 9 minutes. So I'll try and answer any questions which are there. You can put your questions in the chat box or speak up by unmuting yourself.
Apart from ICF, I want to ask a question. Apart from
But
ICF, there are organizations like ATD and all. So how can you elaborate a little bit about that also? What are the other options for
great. No,
accreditation?
other options are actually not ATD.
Hmm.
ATD is one of the best platforms or bodies, let me say, okay, when it comes to ATD and AMA, when it comes to learning and development products.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at AMA or ATD. When it comes to HR practices, SHRM is one of the best platforms. When it comes to coaching, ICF is one of the best platforms. There are other platforms like European Coaching Development Platform and so on and so forth. Okay, or Marshall Goldsmith, which is there. So there are other this thing. ICF has become gold standard. Okay, for when it comes to coaching.
Perfect. And also in the journey of ICF, which you were explaining in the slide, you were mentioning about certain hours of coaching. Now, by the virtue of jobs that certain people do, they already have that experience. So, but there is no way to measure it. This coaching experience that is needed, how does, let's say, a learner or an aspirant get it? He has to practice somewhere else, or you as a service provider will be able to arrange someone to?
Both. So when you enroll in the level 1 path, level 1 is what we are. If you saw, we are certified to offer level 1 path. Level 1 path, the education provider, which is us in this case, or it could be even our competition, they are responsible for supplying you those 100 hours of coaching. It's part of the deal. However, sometimes people say, can we coach inside our organization and count them? The answer is yes. As long as they are not your direct reports, and even some direct report coaching can be taken into what we call as pro bono. Now, there's a lot of detailing nuance there, but answer is yes, both can be taken care of. For example, we just finished the 50th cohort of our coaches last Saturday, and we are starting with the 51st on 8th of Feb. So out of the 10 people, 3 are doing coaching inside and are also doing coaching with us. And as you are becoming a coach, for these 100 hours, there are projects because Niyati and Monica, who are there on this along with Ronald, they are selling executive coaching as services. And there are many times a client says, we want a coach from a particular background, even if the person is not ACC. So we offer those opportunities, earning opportunities to the coaches who are part of our cohorts as first choice to our clients who are looking at executive coaching. So many of them will make, recover their fees by the time they are reaching and finishing their 100 hours.
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening, Sandeep sir.
Ijaz.
here. So I was just going through the process flow that you had explained, where you speak about the 60-hour class credit, 5 recordings, practice, and so on and so forth. Now, you also mentioned that you don't need to be an ACC to actually start the coaching, the coaching process, right?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part I missed it?
Now, you also mentioned that you don't need to eventually become an ACC to actually start the process of coaching.
No, you can immediately start after your classroom sessions. If I build on Sijo's point, the coaching experience is counted after you finish the 60 hours. You can start professionally coaching.
So those 60 hours of class credit that we spoke about, sir, how do we start? For example, like I am already doing it in the course of my work. I work for a B school where I am the head of training and development. So I have a lot of interactions with students, and also sometimes I freelance with corporates. So how do I document that as part of the 60-hour class credit?
So that that's classroom credit, which means you have to attend. There is 6 Saturdays. These classes happen on Saturdays,
Okay, it's class
and
credit.
it's a virtual one. So
Mhm.
as you will finish, and once you meet the standards, we will issue a certificate to you for 30 plus 30. There are 2 modules in this. So we will issue that certificate, which is already recognized by ICF.
Okay, so it is the class credit of we attending the classes.
That's right. So you have to
Okay,
attend.
all
So
right.
60 hours is class credit.
And can you elaborate on the recordings, 5 recordings? What does that mean?
Yeah, because these class credits, the design of those classrooms are uh, it is 70% practice, 30% theory. Now, practicing is we need to send 5 recordings per candidate to ICF. Okay, that these people have demonstrated the proficiency in the classroom. So
Okay.
those recordings have to be uploaded to ICF.
Okay, perfect.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you,
Neil.
sir.
There are
Thank you.
questions in the chat box, Sandeep.
Please go ahead.
From Deep Darshan, the question is, if I take a coaching assignment with my existing job, is it not dual employment kind of thing, which is against employment letter of my organization? Please throw some light how to manage that.
I love the question. You have answered the question partly yourself. Yes, if you are doing it without the knowledge, it will amount to dual darshan. And however, let me give you some of the hacks which colleagues in the industry have used. So they have gone up to their HR and said, listen, can I, at my own time, do some coaching on weekends, which means I'm not, interfering with the regular work of the organization, and organizations give permission depending on how serious they are and stuff like that. So they give permission. There are many people who are doing it like that. In that case, to avoid okay the dual salary part, okay, they, instead of taking salary or the money, they takes honorarium. Honorarium is like a payment regard, which is given to the person. So there are people, but this is entirely between you and your organization. Okay. However, any coaching, if you are an inside coach, when I use the word inside coach, I'm referring to you that you are already in employment of an organization. If you are an inside coach, the best barter which you should do for the organization is that, listen, I will use my coaching skills to build talent pipeline inside the organization. So you should be sponsoring that. So that it automatically becomes a payment to that. And there are organizations in Pune who say you finish your coaching, give us your certificate, we will reimburse the money, which is 1.5 to 1.6 lakhs, okay, for the entire process. Other questions?
No, there's nothing else in the chat box.
Now, something which I never put in, and that's my sign off. Why coaching? Coaching as a profession, okay, we can do a lot of. I'm also a coach. Let me tell you, I have a day job, okay, to manage operations. But when I'm in a coaching session, let me tell you, the satisfaction I derive, okay, out of a coaching as a process is much higher than my day job. Even though, in my day job, I don't take money directly because I already paid by my organization. So the money goes to the organization which are there, okay, and but the satisfaction which comes from coaching is better than training. It is better than guiding or any other consulting. Okay. Much less headache, much deeper connection with the other human being. It's a very deep process. It is not simple tick mark as we go through that.
And I can add that it has become a lifestyle for Sandeep now. He coaches all of us during the work time.
Why do you think I've lost my hair, Ron, and you still have them? Is there a validity to my coaching credit? Can you check on the question? Read the question. I missed it, Niyati.
The question is, is there a validity to my coaching credits? Like I have to refresh them after some time.
Yeah. So coaching accreditation, there's a validity, 3-year validity. Every 3 year, you have to renew this thing. And to renew, you need 40 CCEUs. Okay, CCEUs are Coach Continuous Education Units. Okay, but we will help you, okay, once you become part of our community, how to gather those units, okay, over the 3 years when the license is valid. It's not difficult. Okay, so we will show you how to gather those CCEUs, which you can then submit at the end of 3 years, and it's an automatic renewal after that.
There is another question. Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Just reiterating,
So,
yeah.
Rupika, you want to say something?
Yeah. So, just wanted one clarity. I guess you've already answered that, but just for confirmation, you mentioned that if someone does that 60 hours of class credit, can go ahead and do the coaching. For example, if it has to be done in at workplace. So what I mean to ask is that yes, you gain the required understanding and the right knowledge that yes, after that 50 hours of class credit, you can.
You can.
Okay.
You should actually. The reason is because it gets number one counted in your 100 hours, which you need after the class. Okay. Plus, we are with you because those 100 hours and 10 mentor hours are running like 2 tracks of the train. And you will attend those mentor sessions along with that. So we keep polishing the coaches so that they are coming up to the standards. Classroom credits are just not enough for us to adopt the 8 core competencies which have to be demonstrated. So you attend this one. However, there is flexibility in attending mentor hours because we publish a 6-month calendar, and all you have to do is 7 sessions should be done minimum in a group, and 3 have to be minimum in one-to-one, and that is included in the process fee.
Sandeep, Rupika's boss is our ex-alumni.
Okay.
Subbu.
Ajay.
There's
Who's that?
Subbu, ex-Tata AG.
Subbu. Okay.
There's one question Digant is asking, would we be receiving some details with dates, cost and other? Okay.
Sorry?
Would we be receiving some details with dates, cost and other details of, you mean
That's
of
a question which you have to answer.
certification program? Yes, definitely, Digant. Whoever helped you sign up for this program, please reach out to them and we will definitely be happy to share the details. And the next batch that we have is starting on 8th of February.
So I'd like to thank on behalf of BYLD to all of you for joining us today, and I'll see you when I see you in the future. So keep signed in. Thank you for joining us today.